Welcome back to Pride. Today we're going to be talking about and going over some of the most important things for a beginner boxer. So when you first enter the boxing world, whether it's recreation purpose or whether you want to compete, you're going to enter a boxing gym or you're going to start your training. You see guys over there hitting the heavy bag, you see a guy hitting the speed bag, you see someone over there hitting a double end bag, you see guys in the ring sparring, you see a guy over there jumping rope, you see a guy over there conditioning his neck and his jaw. You see right away that there's a lot of different training involved in training yourself to be a boxer. It's a lot of work, both physically and mentally as well. So one of the most important things that you need to focus on in the beginning as a beginner is your technique. I always teach all my students right away from the get-go that they need to work on technique. And three of the most important things to work on with that technique is going to be your offense, your defense, and your footwork. And the most important training of a boxer that you can work on all three of those things and see whether you're doing them good or not is shadow boxing in front of the mirror. So when you first start your training, you could be working a lot of core, you could be working on upper body, you could be working on legs. In between each set that you do on your core, your legs, or your upper body, you want to do a round of shadow boxing. That's a really good way to mix it in and get a lot of rounds done within your training. Let's say yesterday we trained for an hour. We did a lot of reps and a lot of sets on our core. After each set of core, we did a round of shadow boxing. We always want to make sure we get a lot of shadow boxing in and a lot of rounds in. Do it in front of the mirror, watch your technique, focus on the elbows, focus on where your hands are, focus on where your hands go after you throw a punch. A lot of fighters will throw a punch and they'll drop their hand won't come back to the jaw. You want to throw the punch, bring it right back where it was. Keeping the hands up, keeping those elbows in, watch your technique, watch your balance, watch your footwork, all watching in the mirror. Now, once you get comfortable with your shadow boxing, everyone is different. It depends on the individual. Some people it might be 2 days, some people it might be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. When you're comfortable with your shadow boxing and you see your technique is looking good in the mirror, one thing you can do to really increase your strength, your speed, your endurance is add weight to your shadow boxing. It's going to be lightweight, it's not going to be too heavy. You're going to just add some light dumbbells to your shadow boxing. This way when you're punching, you're using a lot more. It's taking a lot more to throw those punches. It's going to make your hands a lot more tired. After a couple rounds of this, you're not going to be able to bring the hands back up to the jaw as easy. And it's going to really force you to keep those hands up, still focus on the technique. And this is going to add a lot of speed and power to your training. One really big benefit of shadow boxing with weight is it really forces you to take control of yourself, to slow down when you need to slow down, to focus on your technique. You never want to throw a punch and let that weight pull your arm too much at the end of that punch. You always want to control the weight, bring the weight back. Okay, so this is really going to have you focus a lot more than your normal shadow boxing. Still watch the mirror, still watch your technique. Bringing those hands back after every punch. Don't forget to focus on your footwork while you're shadow boxing with weight. Keep it simple. Small steps forward, pushing back, pushing off that front foot when we push back, pushing off that back foot when we push forward. Also, don't forget your defense. Moving the head, bobbing and weaving. Simple things, just adding that weight to the hands. So as a beginner, you already want to start conditioning yourself. You want to work on leg exercises, upper body. You want to work on your core. Core is the most important muscle group. And you want to add in a lot of shadow boxing. That's where you're going to learn your technique. That's where you're going to learn your offense, your defense, and your footwork. When you feel comfortable with that shadow boxing, you add in those dumbbells to the hands. Keep it light, keep good control, still focus on your technique. You want to get comfortable with this before moving to things like the double end bag or hitting a century bob or hitting a heavy bag. And remember, this is only the beginning. This is for beginners. And when you get past this, you're always going to come back to this. No matter how experienced you are, you're always going to shadow box. You're always going to want to shadow box with weight to increase your speed. Focus on your balance. Focus on your technique. I have a very big selection of videos on my channel on shadow boxing, on how to hit a double end bag, how to hit the century bob. A lot of training for boxers. Good for both beginners and advanced boxers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. New boxing videos every Monday and Wednesday.